A clock ticked loudly in the silence. The three commissioners, experienced sea captains all, stared implacably at the candidate, waiting for his answer. Acting Lieutenant Thomas Kydd had every reason to feel the terror that froze his bowels. Failure at this examination would see him stripped of his temporary rank and returned ingloriously to his old shipmates. Well, I would—
Come, sir. An easy enough question. Your certificate of service claims sea time in Artemis, a crack frigate as ever I've seen. You must have seen a flying more above a dozen times.
It was unfair. Here, in this august Navy office boardroom, he was being asked to describe one of the most risky manoeuvres. Dropping anchor at speed and sailing onto the full scope of the cable, then letting go another before falling back on the two anchors. Black Jack pilot of the Artemis would never have chanced his vessel so, Kydd thought indignantly, then took a deep breath. Coming boldly up to the anchorage, I would range both cables out on the gun deck, the veering parties double-banked, of course, and at my furthest on, let go the best bar. Then—
You do not feel it prudent to double-bit your cable first, sir?
The first commissioner interjected. Then the second came in. And we have heard nothing of setting this bower a cockbill in readiness.
That is, if your ship is not yet a trick stopper or similar,
the first added smugly. Kydd forced his mind to an icy resolve. Aye, sir, I may have omitted to say that in getting the anchor off the bows it is first necessary. It seemed to satisfy. He dared a glance at the third member of the board, who sat hard-faced and silent. Captain Essington, the captain of Triumph, in which he served at the bloody Battle of Camperdown.
Passing to navigation, the first commissioner said flatly.
Kydd's anxieties returned. He learned his skills at the hands of a merchant service sailing master, who had taught him a plain yet solid understanding of his craft. But Kydd knew that the Navy liked arcane descriptions and definitions.
We'll begin with basic understanding, Mr. Kydd. What is your conceiving of a great circle?
The plane of the equator, when projected from the center onto a tangent plane, becomes a straight line.
Thank you. The workings of an azimuth altitude will be familiar enough to you, no doubt. Then clarify for me the correction of the right ascension of the mean sun, if you please.
Kydd struggled, but could see frowns settling, glances exchanged. Failure was now more than a possibility, and a cold dread stole over him. If only they would ask,
Mr. Kydd, you're aboard a two-decker.
It was Essington leaning forward. Kydd shifted position to face him directly. There was no trace of compassion in the man's eyes.
Shall we say, in the Caribbean? You are scudding before a regular-going hurricane, and you sight land, dead to leeward. You throw out both bowers.
The other commissioners looked at Essington with curiosity.
They carry away, one after the other. Only a sheet anchor is left to you to prevent the ship being cast ashore. Detail your actions, if you will, sir, to forestall a wreck and grievous loss of life.
He leaned back, unnerving Kydd with his stare. His fellow captains held back in surprise as Essington finished acidly,
And shall we have a coral bottom?